And when you go into the highest states of mind called the samadhis, you actually dissolve the world completely. And in that moment, according to Vajrayana, take it or leave it. I know it's a stretch in thought here. When you cease to exist, when your mind ceases to exist for a timeless time called samadhi, then everything that the mind is creating is also ceasing to exist. This is emptiness. It could also be experienced as fullness. The opposites break down. You can't really talk about the experience directly with words. They don't do justice. But we can dissolve the mind, and we can go beyond the opposites, and we can go beyond the attraction and repulsion, and we can go beyond our self-importance and our spiritual self-importance and, trying to look good amongst other spiritual people. We can go beyond all of that in one moment. Just like that. And it's a beautiful experience, this samadhi thing. And it will wake you up on a level that you didn't know was possible. It'll wake you up to your own spirit on a level that you did not know was possible. They don't really teach this stuff in the movies. They teach you a lot about love relationship in movies, don't they? And it's not all the best advice either. So their media is doing what sells, right? And even the spiritual movies always have to end with a happy ending where the guy and the girl fall in love again, or they find happiness, whatever it is, but the guy and girl have to fall in love or be in love by the end of the movie. There could be all kinds of conflict, and there could be all these really beautiful spiritual, I'm going to actually recommend spiritual movies to you guys. And I kind of wish they left out the boy and girl part, because the deepest part of those spiritual movies are so good. And coming to know your own spirit, guess what? Has nothing to do with another person. It's much simpler than that. It's like, yes, the other person can inspire you to open your heart, just like a baby can, right? But you have a heart. You can open it any time. You just have to meditate there, and learn how to open it over time. So everything that you need is within. It is very true. Now here's where taking responsibility comes in. Freedom isn't free. You have to work for it. I've worked really hard for many years to touch the samadhis. Even a second in samadhi is awesome. And if it takes 5 or 10 years to reach even one moment in samadhi, then I'm happy for you. That was time well worth it. To really experience what Buddha is talking about, neti neti. It's outside of the worlds of all the experiences. And he's really talking about nirvikalpa samadhi there, if you're familiar with the terms. So yeah, sometimes the energy does that, and then I forget what I was talking about. But the words don't matter so much. What really matters is that we meditate daily. Right. So taking responsibility is taking responsibility for your own spirituality, doing the practices, meditation, mindfulness, martial arts. I want people to come back, and some people have like a thing against martial arts because, it's violent. No, it's like the best thing that'll ever help you meditate deeper, faster. So like I have multiple students on this call. Before they met me, never thought of doing martial arts. After they met me, they've been doing martial arts for years. And that includes several women. And I say that because oftentimes women have a negative connotation of it being violent, and it's not. Real martial arts is nonviolent. They actually teach us to run. If you can avoid a fight by running, you run, because that's humble. It's not about ego. There are schools that will teach you to fight, but that's not the martial arts that I'm talking about. So you do the practices, you take the teacher seriously. Like, I know what I did to get from like immense amounts of suffering on a daily basis to like pretty darn loving life and flowing with life, and things that used to bother me don't bother me anymore, and so on. And I can bring you there if you let me. And so take the teachings. They're not even my teachings, they're the lineage's teachings, and those go back thousands of years. So we have a lot of history here that proves it. And then I have a bunch of friends who study with my teacher, and oh my God, I remember who they were 10 years ago. They were kind of a pain in the butt, a little bit of assholes at times. Beautiful people now. Like they've smoothed out all their rough edges. They love life. They want to lift others up. And they actually can do that because they're not sitting and suffering as much as they used to. And I have several friends who've actually gone fully through the door to enlightenment, and they're wonderful to be around. I highly recommend finding enlightened people and hanging out with them. It's a wonderful experience to be with someone who isn't stuck in the suffering of ego. So taking responsibility is like, hey, this is my lifetime to go all the way to the top of the mountain. And I've experienced life, I've experienced relationship. It can be really sweet, but it can also be very painful. I'm pretty sure that this thing called relationship is not going to get me to eternal one happiness. Well, how can you do that? Eternal two? Like there's two. If you're relying on someone else for your happiness, that is not enlightenment. Now, two people pursuing enlightenment together in a relationship, that can work. But it's not about the other, like, there's some leaning on each other, certainly, but ultimately both partners in a relationship are rooted in their own deep spirituality first. And then from that love that's pouring through them, then they have something very big to share with the other in the relationship. It's not about getting something that's missing from you from the other. So there is such thing as a dharma relationship, but most relationships are karma relationships. And if you have questions about that, that's what I'm here for. I can help with those things. So taking responsibility just means take this class seriously. I mean, for the longest time, like 7 or 8 years, I haven't charged a single dime for it. I'm only charging, I mean, it is helpful to me because I'm now, I mean, the amount of expenses with technology and flying to other countries to teach in person, you're supporting that. It's very good energy to be giving to the Dharma that I'm part of giving in. It's all about giving. But ultimately, what tuition is about is to get you guys to take responsibility. And again, if you're not ready for tuition, Tuesday class still free, and don't even worry about it. But if you're ready to take responsibility with personal power, third chakra power, money is just an extension of your third chakra, then you're happy to give money. Money is just an extension of your personal power. That's you putting your personal power into the light of eternity by giving to the Dharma and helping me spread the Dharma to more people. And I've been doing this with my teacher for years, happily, because I'm all about taking responsibility for spirituality. And if I can help someone else into enlightenment, whether I get there before them or after them, doesn't matter. I just get to give to enlightenment, period. And everyone's enlightenment is my enlightenment and vice versa. There's no separation in enlightenment. So taking responsibility means doing the mindfulness every day, like every moment of every day. Also, when I offer you karma yoga, you don't have to be on the intermediate path to do karma yoga. You might want to take that. I'm telling you that like karma yoga is like huge game changer. I didn't have it for years on the path. And when I finally was offered it and I took it, and I did resist at first. It's like, what? Work on my weekend? What? Why? But when you work selflessly with other people who are meditating in the light, game changer. You go so much farther, faster. So now we're talking about going straight up the mountain here. And that has literally been the difference for my friends who are enlightened. It's been all the difference, them doing karma yoga selflessly for some years. Martial arts help them, these have helped me as well. So I have a map. I followed the map. I have friends who followed the map. The map gets you to a very high, beautiful place. on a consistent level for the rest of your life if you do these practices. And it's not the only way, it's a way that really works well. Not all paths lead to the top of the mountain. Others lead to selfless giving, which is a great step in the right direction. Some lead into weird dimensions. So use your own heart and your own third eye to discern what is right for you in this world. If you need to dabble a little bit more, you can dabble. But some of you are way beyond dabbling, and it's now time to commit and go to the next level in what I'm offering you.